Want to watch football without the restrictions of blackouts or cable? Check out expressvpn.com to help you get access to all the live games. Sign up today using the link in the description to get 3 free months. Yo, to Bolt fam, it's the director. Chargers fans, what a fun year it's been to talk Chargers football in this offseason, right? Probably the craziest offseason I've ever seen as a Chargers fan, which is really saying something. This offseason's been a smashing success. We got Khalil Mack, we got J.C. Jackson, and then, of course, in the draft, I feel like the Chargers had some smashing success, too. A slam dunk pick with Zion Johnson in the first round, and then some great value along the way. Of course, Jamari Sawyer, but today we're talking a little bit about Isaiah Spiller, who I believe could have a crazy rookie season in his first year with the Chargers in 2022 specifically, man. Day 3, there were players on the board that we knew we loved. There was players on the board that I was rooting for, but I knew one thing going into the draft, and I think a lot of you guys were catching on to it as well. Chargers were pretty deadly serious about running back too, and boy, did they get themselves a dog in round 4 by the name of Isaiah Spiller. And you know what? For a long time, Spiller was considered to be the best running back in the nation. Of course, maybe a couple setbacks in his combine performance shifted him down the board a little bit. But that being said, dude, just a smashing, value for the Chargers in the 4th round. He was projected to go a lot sooner than that. And I think his role with the Chargers is going to be pretty impressive in 2022. Some people really do love the pick. Some people hate it. I personally think that he is going to shock some people, even in his first season this upcoming September. So today we're going to break down how I think Isaiah Spiller's first year is going to go in the NFL. And boy, am I excited to see this dude in powder blue, man. He's going to be a very nice piece to this offense. Question in the comments before we do get started: what sort of stats do you think Spiller puts up in his rookie season? My predictions will be in the later part of the video as well, but please post in the comment section below how many yards and touchdowns you think Isaiah Spiller is going to post in his rookie season. Before we do get started, guys, hit us up with a like and sub. If you do enjoy this Chargers content, small amount of time you guys take to hit the like, sub, and bell notification helps me out a lot. Let's get into this one. Lights, camera, action. Why I think Isaiah Spiller could be in for a crazy rookie season with the Chargers here in 2022. So first, let's kind of break down why Isaiah Spiller specifically, right? The Chargers, as you guys know, were very deadly serious about getting themselves a running back too. That backfield certainly did need some help. Of course, we do got guys, like Larry Roundtree, Joshua Kelly, with the quotations. Maybe he doesn't make the roster this season. And then Justin Jackson, who was a great talent, but could not stay on the field for the life of him. And you know what? The Chargers tried out every one of these guys on the roster in terms of giving them work to see who would be best fitted for the Chargers running back 2 role. And I don't think anybody really ran with it. The short-term answer as far as why Isaiah Spiller, why did we decide to take him in the 4th round, is that Austin Ekeler needs a sidekick. We need to offer this man some help in terms of our run game, in terms of his production. Austin Ekeler is one of those rare players in the NFL that doesn't come around every day. And we want to make sure that the same way we arm Justin Herbert with weapons via the passing game, with protection in that aspect as well, the same way we offer Derwin James, help in that defensive backfield, we also want to offer Austin Ekeler, another one of our stars, help in terms of a running back too. And this was a huge issue that the Chargers were trying to at least find an answer for last season, whether it be somebody on the roster, somebody they need to draft, or somebody they need to sign via free agency. They found that answer last season, and Isaiah Spiller definitely fills that void. And you know what? A combo like Isaiah Spiller and Austin Ekeler creates a promising, what I call synergy. I play a lot of Apex Legends, okay, guys? And in that game, sometimes there's 2 characters in that video game that come together very well, and they complement each other because of the different kind of abilities they have. And the same thing can be said on the football field. 2 players that possess different strengths and weaknesses, when paired paired together can create a nice situation for themselves and their team. And the Chargers got themselves a nice combo of running backs in terms of what they can do. Of course, Austin Ekeler is going to be more of the guy that is a threat in the passing downs, right? He can take, a 5-6 yard pass all the way to the house at any given moment. He's very shifty. He's a very good receiver, and he runs very well on the outside. Whereas Isaiah Spiller, this dude knows what he's doing between the tackles, man, and that's exactly what the Chargers needed in order to complement what Austin Ekeler can do. It offers more versatility in what you can do in specific situations, and that's why Isaiah Spiller was the perfect man for the job. And the Chargers, who drafted this man in the 4th round, got themselves some insane value. And most of the mock drafts I was doing this offseason, again, guys, I don't just go to one source. I go to very many sources in order to try to find a nice middle ground of what I think people are projecting, players for, where they're being drafted, their ADP. I saw this man drafted a lot in the 3rd round at the very latest. Some people reaching for him in the 2nd. Very rarely did I see him in the 4th round. So for the Chargers to pick him up there is definitely considered a big value and at a position of need. So I think Isaiah Spiller was an obvious selection for the Chargers, and he does fill a need where the Chargers definitely needed one and offers help to a superstar in Austin Ekeler. Now, the situation for Isaiah Spiller, because we're talking about his production in his rookie season. As a player, as an individual, what do we think he can do in his first year in the pros? Well, the situation for Isaiah Spiller is definitely one that does favor him and offers him some time to get into the groove of the pros, right? Because Spiller, in my opinion, the situation is great, but he's not going to be thrown into superstardom year one, right? This team's running back one is already established in Austin Ekeler. And I think in some instances, we don't really understand how good Austin Ekeler is and how lucky we are to have Austin Ekeler on this roster. The man is an absolute beast. But this doesn't mean Isaiah Spiller's role won't produce, let's say, some big numbers, right? Some respectable numbers. Austin Ekeler, again, is unique. And this offers more opportunity for Spiller than some people think, because what Austin Ekeler can do and what Isaiah Spiller can do are very, very different. Ekeler could additionally, with the help of a decent running back too, be utilized more in the slot or out wide as a receiver this season. So that synergy, again, will come into play. Now, his situation with the Chargers is that they want to keep their stars healthy as well. That's also another big point I'm trying to make in this one. Austin Ekeler does need help. We want to make sure that he stays, on the field as much as possible. Recently, we've seen some concerns with Austin Ekeler here and there. A big way that you can help massage that issue, and it's something that Brandon Staley has been very hyper-focused on in the last couple of seasons, is to bring in some help, some guys to rotate in. And we saw that in terms of who he signed via free agency this season, as well as who he drafted. So bringing in Isaiah Spiller more often than not is also going to offer help to Austin Ekeler in terms of staying healthy. And I do think this will offer him plenty of opportunity to get some touches this season. Maybe eventually Isaiah Spiller becomes like the running back 1B to the Austin Ekeler running back 1A. I don't know. I think as the season progresses, that's what I'm hoping to see out of Spiller, because again, they do two very different things at a very different level. And again, Spiller, I don't know, man. I feel like, again, he's going to be utilized in so many different ways, and also ways that the Chargers would maybe ask from Austin Ekeler a little bit too, right? Because he's also a stellar pass catcher in Isaiah Spiller. And again, this offers the Chargers options in rotation. So if we're trying to keep Austin Ekeler healthy, if he's had a lot of touches, we can bring in Isaiah Spiller to be that, short yardage guy, but as well as offer some help in the receiving game as well. So I don't know. I like a lot of things that are lining up here for Isaiah Spiller. He won't have to carry the responsibilities on the ground alone year one. If he was drafted by a different team that was really running back needy, then that's a different story. But his transition into the pros will come with plenty of room to grow and adapt to this new environment, okay? A side note before we go on to the next one too, I just thought of the Chargers defense is also in a much better spot than it was a year ago, right? And this is, I would absolutely expect more drives focusing on the run game than in years past, which basically means if the defense can get a stop and the Chargers offense is operating as normal, then the Chargers are likely going to go to the run game a little bit more, especially in late game. And again, this will help Spiller get more work, because what I'm seeing in Spiller is very situational, but at the same time, if we're in a situation where we're trying to run out the clock, I do expect to see a lot of that for Isaiah Spiller this season. Now, Spiller also a very big problem solver for the Chargers. This is why Spiller is such a great fit, right? He's a between the tackle runner, and this is something again that we went through in order, like with synergy with Austin Ekeler, why he complements us so well. He's a big body dude, right? 6'2", 220 pounds. He's got all the tools to provide early down and short yardage work for the Chargers, which again helps Austin Ekeler in being utilized. But when we need his talent the most, he will be available. But at the same time, football is a very rough sport, man. And if you got a big body guy in there that can take some hits, that's able to keep his balance, then that does offer a lot in terms of rotation between him and Austin Ekeler. I like that a lot. And the Chargers specifically, where they needed help, and the big problem we're trying to address right now, they struggled mightily in producing short yards, right? The fourth down options on the ground were very, very limited. We saw a lot of situations where the Chargers' 4th and goal just could not punch it in, and we handed it to a potential running back 2 in several situations by the name of Joshua Kelly, and that opportunity was fumbled away. I think Isaiah Spiller is going to offer a lot of help in those areas, because I think the Chargers, let's say on 4th down, right? I think the Chargers should continue to go for it when justified. I think it's a brand new kind of, look at the NFL. Some people really hate that. I saw Rex Ryan rip him apart in terms of why are you going for it on 4th down so much. And yes, there's some moments that I feel like that. But for the most part, I think the Chargers have been pretty successful in their attempts. But I do think that them not having an option in terms of a running back that can produce short yardage does limit what they can do in, let's say, 4th and 2 situations, 4th and inches situations. Spiller offers another option in converting those 4th downs, right? Even just his presence on the field during the time of those plays in those situations will help tremendously by making defenses second guess themselves, right? Are they passing? Are they running? Isaiah Spiller's in there, so we're probably going to try and plug those holes. Maybe that leaves a little bit of room for Justin Herbert to hit a Gerald Everett or something right over the middle. You never know. So just the presence of Isaiah Spiller is enough, let alone the kind of work he's going to get in the short yardage, those short yardage situations. And I also think the goal line work should be plentiful this season, right? I think the Chargers, their offense, the way they like to spread the ball around, and they're pretty consistently getting to the red zone and maybe having some issues in that area of the field. I think again Isaiah Spiller comes in and offers you options. I honestly wouldn't be shocked to see Spiller put up maybe a similar amount of touchdowns on the ground as Austin Ekeler in his rookie season, which is kind of insane to say. I think Ekeler got like 12 touchdowns last season. I don't know how far behind an Isaiah Spiller would be in his rookie year just because of what he's designed to do for this offense. And this offense is going to have plenty of opportunities to score in the red zone. And this move also does protect Justin Herbert, by the way. And that kind of seems to be the name of the game for the Chargers the past couple of seasons, right? Protect Justin Herbert. We might see less quarterback sneaks. We might see more blocking because Spiller is a very decent blocker. And then obviously, in terms of boosting your run game, especially your power run game, is going to give Justin Herbert a little bit more room to operate. So I like it a lot. Now, one of the biggest things in terms of the situation for Isaiah Spiller that gets me the most excited is running behind that wall of thunder, right? Spiller is joining a high-powered offense. We know this. We're going to put up some points this season. But this will come with plenty of opportunity to score in the red zone, like we said, right? But perhaps the biggest and most overlooked detail in this offense is their offensive line. The offensive line he's adopted is absolutely insane. And if you take a look at Isaiah Spiller in his collegiate career, the Aggies had some serious issues with their offensive line. People were rotating in a lot. There was a lot of injuries. And I think even despite this, Spiller always found a way to shine. Right, he always found a way to put up some decent numbers and put up a lot of touchdowns. And I think his situation in terms of space to operate, in terms of his offensive line, is vastly improved with the Chargers in his first year in the pros. Slater, Filer, Lindsley, Zion Johnson, who's a recent addition. These guys are going to offer some room, right, for him to operate. His best work can be found between the tackles. You know what? The Chargers got plenty of depth at guard. They got some great centers on this team, and I think he's going to have a lot of space to operate, in the middle of that line. And his trend, of generating, what was it, like 5.5 yards per carry, that should continue behind this vastly improved line situation for Isaiah Spiller. This is a great situation for Spiller coming into the pros. And this arguably, in my opinion, the offensive line being the big detail right here, this arguably puts him in the best situation among all top running back prospects coming into the league this year, right? In terms of a high-powered offense, a great offensive line, and splitting work with a running back that's almost completely opposite of you. Kenneth Walker with the Seahawks, Breece Hall with the Jets. I think Damian Pierce went to the Bills. The Bills might have a nice offensive line, but, the Jets and the Seahawks, they don't have an offensive line, or they don't have an offense or an O-line anywhere close to the Chargers. And this is going to offer Isaiah Spiller, even though he's splitting work with another back, probably more quality opportunities to make some plays, right? It's going to be a good year for him. Now, I do got to say that he doesn't come without his concerns, right? Concerns, but not issues, is what I'm actually going to say. He's got concerns, but these are not issues to me, right? Spiller is not that fast, and I know that's something that a lot of people look for in their running backs. They want to see those big home run plays. He's not the kind of weapon that's going to take a carry, at his own 40 all the way to the house. Maybe he can on occasion. I think he's a lot faster than people give him credit for, but he's just not designed to do stuff like that. What he is designed to do, and some of the strengths that he does have to help kind of massage maybe the lack of speed, is that he's tremendously shifty, right? Shows incredible burst. But his footwork is probably the thing that inspired me the most to make this video, right? Inspired me and gets me the most excited about his contributions to the team. His footwork is very reminiscent of like a prime Le'Veon Bell or maybe a current Antonio Gibson. The dude's got some moves, one cuts. He's got really nice footwork just before making contact, right? That offers the Chargers a lot in terms of what they can do opposite of Austin Ekeler, right? Now, he doesn't lower his shoulder a lot. I think that was one thing I was really hoping to see from the Chargers drafting a running back, but he sure does break a lot of tackles, which, again, it's another aspect of his game that massages something that we're hoping to see. The dude's balance is insane. Some of the hits that he took should have laid him out. Instead, he bounces right off of him and keeps going upfield. I think that definitely is something the Chargers can work with. And again, his combine maybe was a little bit underwhelming. I cannot argue against that, right? But he was dealing with a muscle strain, a quite serious muscle strain during the combine, okay? He posted a 4.64. He's much faster than a 4.64, okay? I would actually say he looks closer to a 4.5, maybe middle of like the 4.5s is what I'm trying to get at right there. I think that's more appropriate to what I see in Isaiah Spiller. And some people say that he might bulk up and really adopt that bruiser role, but I don't think that's extremely necessary. I really like the strengths that Isaiah Spiller is bringing in. Yes, he does have some concerns, but I do think a lot of them are very coachable, and maybe hitting the weight room a little bit will offer him a little bit more versatility in terms of hitting the inside of that line, okay? So last but not least, prediction time, and this is where my excitement peaks, right? This is where I get really, really stoked about the future. Isaiah Spiller, I get it. He's a rookie. I'm not expecting a monster year, right? I'm not expecting the kind of year that, a player comes in, they're like, wow, look at this superstar. He's going to have a huge, impact with this team for years to come. I think semblances of that will be said about Isaiah Spiller. But, his situation does spell for a very, very good rookie year in 2022, in my opinion. The Chargers are in win now mode, right? They have loaded up. They want to go to the Super Bowl. And if Spiller can prove that he's their rock solid running back too very early in the season, then I think he's in for a very huge year in his rookie season too. Still, I think he's going to get plenty of work regardless of what the Chargers are doing, what the offense looks like. I just think, again, given his archetype, given what he's providing the team, he should see plenty of work in year one. Okay? So here are my predictions for Isaiah Spiller in 2022. And remember, he does receive a little bit as well, so I'm going to split these stats. Rushing, I'm going to give Isaiah Spiller 130 carries for 720 yards and 8 touchdowns. That That's pretty good, okay? Receiving, I'm giving him 21 receptions for 140 yards and a touchdown, which gives us a grand total of 860 yards and 9 touchdowns for Isaiah Spiller in his first season. Now, I get it, guys. Again, this is not going to be, running back one numbers in terms of the best. It's not going to be Alvin Kamara out there, right? He's not going to be Derrick Henry out there in his first season in terms of stats. But these numbers that I just posted here would be insane for any year one running back. I think in terms of rookies, a lot of people expect those superstars to emerge, a lot like we've seen with wide receivers recently, Justin Jefferson, et cetera, et cetera. I don't think that's required. I don't think that's what we need from Isaiah Spiller. But at the same time, the numbers that I just said are very, very good for any year one running back. And I think he's definitely up to the task. Now, I will admit, I think this is maybe a little bit closer to his ceiling, right? His floor is likely around 400 or 500 yards, 5 touchdowns. But I think given his situation, he's really been set up for smashing success in his rookie year. And who knows? With how aggressive the Chargers are in offense, my number may end up being a little bit lower than what he actually puts up. But I do think a 1,000-yard total, let's say, season might be a bit of a stretch for Isaiah Spiller year one, but I really can't rule it out either. He's talented. He's a very talented running back who's been thrusted into a playoff contending team with a very talented quarterback, wide receivers, offensive line, a very good defense. All the opportunity is in front of Isaiah Spiller for his rookie season. And I think if we're going to be a little bit bold here, I think, again, maybe even these numbers, this may put Isaiah Spiller as the number one running back coming out of the draft this season, which, again, very bold, but at the same time, this dude, he's adopting such a great situation. He's bringing a lot of talent with him as well. So in the comment section below, let me know your guys' predictions as well. Again, mine is 860 total yards, 9 touchdowns. You can split it between rushing and receiving if you want to as well. I would like to see the general consensus of what people are thinking with Isaiah Spiller in his rookie year. And again, the numbers are very impressive, right? If he posts those numbers, I'm super excited. But what makes me more excited is that those numbers would probably most likely reflect more wins. Because I would have to imagine a good number of those touchdowns on the ground are adding to the Chargers, opportunity to win the game. And a lot of these carries are probably going to be in situations that help the Chargers continue drives. And that's why I think Isaiah Spiller, a great selection by the Chargers, one that I'm super excited, to get to know a little bit better, to see operate in camp, to see operate in season. It's going to be a nice piece for this Chargers offense. And this is just year one. Remember that. I think as time goes on, I would be very shocked if Isaiah Spiller doesn't turn into the running back 1B to the Austin Ekeler 1A. I think these two mesh very well together and create a very nice situation in terms of your running back weapons in order to tackle any situation in any given drive. So again, let me know in the comment section what you guys think. Well, guys, thank you so much for joining me. This has been the Director. Get excited, man. The return of Sim Sundays is coming up very soon as well. I think that's it as far as news for the channel. We're going to continue churning out a lot of fun off-season content, getting people engaged with the fan base, with the team, as well as getting ourselves hyped up for the new season. Oh, the last bit of announcement news too. I've been hard at work at the hype video for the 2022 season. It's shaping up very, very nice. I'm not sure when it's going to be released, but it's getting there, guys. It's getting there. So get excited for the new hype trailer for the 2022 Chargers season as well. It's coming down the pipes very soon. Well, guys, thank you so much for joining me. This has been the Director. Hit us up with a like and sub on your way out. If you did enjoy this content, we'll see you next time. And as always, bolt up and stay frosty. Isaiah Spiller, man, the dude's going to be an absolute wrecking ball.